But this world, as big as it is, one person can be the tipping scale to really create a domino effect that no one ever seen coming. I would like to remind people, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to judge you and tell you you're too naive.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the GSE Digital Startup Accelerator program. Congratulations to everyone that made it through. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this iconic program. Welcome once again. If you are here today, it means you made it through the selection process and you've been selected for this annual edition of the GSE Digital Startup Accelerator program. My name is Daniel Tete, and I'll be the program lead for this program. So you'll be seeing much more of me throughout the sessions, and we'll get to talk more and then delve more into your startups and what you do. In the chat feed, you can also share where you're joining in from and keep the excitement going, as well as the name of your startup and what you do in the chat feed. Remember, aside the training program, you also have the chance to network with your colleagues as well. So welcome once again to each and every one of you, and congratulations to you for making it through. To kick off with the opening remarks, it's my pleasure to welcome our CEO in the person of Christine Team to give you a little bit of information about what we do at the Global Startup Ecosystem. So it's my pleasure to welcome our CEO. Hello, Christine.
Hi, and welcome. Thank you so much for the intro. I'm going to make sure that the team is ready to go. And guys, please share on the screen, GSE team, the comments and the energy from the group. It'd be great for everyone to see everyone who's logging in. There's a lot of people coming from all over the world that's joining in. So Nee, Obed, and Stan, if you guys could share on the screen, yes, people are coming in, so everyone could get a worldwide view of the varied companies and stakeholders who are part of us for the kickoff for today's session. So I'm really excited to be here. It's truly an honor and a pleasure to be with all of you for the GSE Digital Startup Accelerator program. You just connected with Stan, who's the managing coordinator for the GSE Accelerator. So you are going to see more of Stan throughout this program over the next month or so. But today is the kickoff of the GSE Digital Startup Accelerator. It's the only session that is also streamed to the public. The rest will be privately held for all of you who were selected for the cohort. So first and foremost, congratulations to everyone who was selected to the 8th annual edition of the GSE Digital Startup Accelerator program. Chat on the back. Please tell me where you were at when you found out, when you got the email and said that you were accepted to the program. Let us know your story. Were you out and about hustling with your business? Were you closing a meeting? Were you closing funding? Were you getting your first customer? Were you with family? Where were you when you received that notification that you were accepted into this iconic program, while also this legacy-driven and really passion-driven community and family that is at GSE. So without further ado, I just want to say congratulations again and welcome everyone to the GSE Digital Startup Accelerator. Now, I am so excited to be here because at GSE, we are on a mission to prepare individuals and organizations for the digital age through our platform at GSE. And we do this in multiple ways. But as the world's first digital accelerator platform, we are one of the largest digital ecosystem development platforms in the planet. And we are on a mission to, again, educate, inspire, and prepare individuals for the digital age. You have seen the trends, you have seen the mechanisms, the shift that's happening with technology, and we're trying to bridge that digital divide by bringing, entrepreneurs of all different backgrounds, creeds, and really unique profiles to come and leverage technology, leverage the digital age to build and scale not just profitable companies, but passion, purposeful, impactful companies that can really make a dent in society's biggest challenges. So we salute you and welcome you again to the GSE family. Now, at GSE, our flagship program is the GSE Annual Accelerator Program, but many haven't seen GSE in action on the ground with our iconic Tech Summit portfolio, where we go around the world and we activate tech ecosystems through our annual Tech Summit. So you probably have seen us, activate in Ghana through the Ghana Tech Summit, Haiti Tech Summit, Nigeria Tech Summit, Kenya Tech Summit, Dubai, Saudi, Qatar. We have gone through so many different countries around the world, and our portfolio continues to expand. We have launched about 60 different activations around the world over the past 7 years, and we'll continue to grow and go into Asia and the Caribbean and other emerging markets to really inspire stakeholders in the startup ecosystem to build forward and to inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs who are building with purpose, building with integrity, and building with enthusiasm for solving the world's greatest global challenges. So this is a look of the portfolio of the iconic brands and initiatives that we've been doing around the world. And I look forward to partnering with many stakeholders who have seen the GSE in action on the ground and the work that we do to bring stakeholders together around global markets. Now, our work, because of the work that we've done, have been featured in a lot of different media mentions around the world. I'm really proud to see that, we have been able to touch so many different lives. Thousands of entrepreneurs have been through our program. And we operate on 3 pillars of ecosystem engagement. The first being the most obvious is entrepreneurship. We are passionate about entrepreneurship and how entrepreneurship can really solve global challenges. And we inspire entrepreneurs like you by training you and helping you launch and succeed in this market. Furthermore, our second pillar is employment. We believe startup founders are creating some of the best companies in the world, and as such are really going to upskill the next generation of talent around the world. We already know right now 1 in 4 people who will be of mature age to be in the global workforce will be on the African continent. So shout out to all my African entrepreneurs who are on this program. We have done a heavy push into really working across the African continent because we know the world's population is moving towards the African continent, and the workforce population of the future are going to be in one of those 54 countries across the African continent. So employment is our second pillar of ecosystem engagement. How do we upskill through technology and through exponential exposure to all the different ways that you could really build a remote workforce, but more importantly, a skilled workforce for the future. And last but not least is education. And we educate on exponential technologies, AI, blockchain space, and all the different technologies you could leverage as an entrepreneur to accelerate your impact and accelerate your growth in today's marketplace. So really, truly impactful ecosystem that we've built over the past couple of years. And many people say, so what are our programs or services? Is 3 iconic works that we do across multiple markets. One being this platform that we're speaking on today is our flagship annual digital startup accelerator program, which we do every year, every fall, where we invite about 20 to 50 speakers from around the world who can mentor and inspire and educate our entrepreneurs who are ready to launch and accept close to 1,000 companies from across multiple markets to go through a 1-month digital first program that's accessible, impactful, and fruitful for their ability to launch and lead in their markets. The second flagship program that we have is called the Digital Startup Academy. It's a monthly membership community for more established entrepreneurs who have launched and done well in the market and looking to really get really exceptional insight on how to really scale their company effectively with things that you cannot find on the internet, really exclusive. And I lead many of those calls in the Digital Startup Academy. And last but not least, we have the annual Digital Startup Summit, which kicks off this year during Global Entrepreneurship Week. Is the culmination event of the annual Accelerator program. Many of you will be demoing and pitching at that annual virtual program. And these are 3 signature programs that we do at GSE. Yes, of course, many of you know us for the activations that we've done across global markets through our annual tech summits. And those we partner with the Googles and the Metas and banking institutions and, global institutions like the World Bank and IMF and Forbes to accelerate those ecosystem ecosystems with those activations. But our core 3 programs and services are our Digital Startup Accelerator, our Startup Summit, and the GSE Digital Startup Academy. Now, for ecosystem leadership, there are 2 things that we do. In addition to the GSE Digital Startup Academy, the Startup Summit, and the Accelerator, is one, we do provide strategic advisory services to institutions who are looking to launch accelerator programs. We have supported Forbes to launch their first accelerator program in Nigeria. We have worked with the State Department to launch accelerator programs across the Caribbean. We have worked with the World Bank to do initiatives across different markets as well. So we are the go-to strategic institution and consulting arm for many major institutions across the planet to launch iconic, impactful accelerator programs. So if you're interested in launching an accelerator program with entrepreneurs who are building with purpose, feel free to connect with our team via the chat or DM us via programs@globalstartupfoundation.com. Now, in addition to that, we also have ecosystem leadership activations where we engage with stakeholders through quarterly roundtable sessions where we invite entrepreneur support organization leaders, incubator managers, accelerator leaders from around the world to talk about the state of entrepreneurship and how can we support the next generation of entrepreneurs, which includes with me leading quarterly state of startup ecosystem sessions. Team, if you go on my LinkedIn page and post the most recent state of startup ecosystem session that I posted, I think I did for Q3 a couple of weeks ago. Please post that on the chat feed so that way people can have access to that. It really is a lively session where for about 30 minutes, I share with you top insights that founders need to know to be able to prepare for what's happening in this market as we speak. Okay. And then in addition to that, of course, activations at global convenings like Davos, Angle Week, World Bank, so on and so forth. Okay. So with that said, our flagship program is the GSE Startup Accelerator program, where since our inception in 2015, we have been growing as a community. So far, close to 8,000 entrepreneurs have been through this iconic accelerated platform. And we have partnered with some of the best institutional partners to provide perks and resources to our startup founders, including credits from Google Cloud, IBM, AWS, and so on and so forth. And so many of you, congratulations again for being accepted. You will get an email confirmation at the end of the program upon completion to have access to these perks and partnership invitations as well. As stated before, we have worked with multiple different partners like Microsoft, Google to launch accelerator platforms around the world to really make an impact. And we look forward to working with more organizations because we do believe that we want to close the digital divide. And we believe a digital first program is a great way to get multiple entrepreneurs on that platform, on that, path to success. Okay. With that said, I do want to invite Stan back on so he could give you an overview of the demographics of those of you who were accepted in this year's accelerator program. He'll definitely give you a recap of last year's cohort and the difference into this year's cohort. So I'm going to invite Stan back to the stage. Okay. To be able to take that on, and I'll come back on and kick off session. Dan, over to you. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Christine. So this is a yearly program. We've had so many cohorts, and these are some of the testimonials that we see from previous cohorts. For last year's edition, last year was an exciting time where the cohorts participated in so many sessions and were able to interact with the speakers to ask meaningful questions to help with their startups and also engage with them as well. So you also have the opportunity to do that as well. And then also have had a pitch demo day, and we'll talk more about that as the program goes on. And these are some of the cohorts that were featured on the previous edition. That's for 2024. We also look at some of the application pools. So for this year in particular, we had the application open since August and then closed it as well. Today we had extended to make sure we get as many people as possible to be able to have the opportunity to apply for the program. So the announcement was done early this year to make sure that you had the opportunity to apply for the 2025 edition. So congratulations on being selected for this program. And for this year's demographics, we had 23% females. I think that's one of the lowest representation of females on the program, because we tend to have, for last year in particular, we had more females joining the program. So it's interesting to note that this year we had so many more male applying for the program. In terms of the year your startups were founded, we had so many um, varying years. We had 2025, so most of the startups are quite new that were started this year, and we had for 2024 follows as well, and then we have 2023, 2022. As it goes down, we get to see its termination as well. So we have more recently founded startups among those that applied for this year's program. So kudos to you, and we wish you all the best with your startups as well. I think we'll give you some opportunity to learn more about your startups and what you do as well. Then for the team sizes, we have majority. We have some being five or more being the highest representation, where we have 5 members or more being involved in the team. We also have for individually funded or individual led startups, we are working closely with about 19.6%. So that's quite interesting as well as two and then three and four. Those are the highest numbers of team sizes that we have the, for the selected cohorts as well. Then the topics that most were interested in for this selection of some of the comments that you were most interested in: funding for marketing as well as customer acquisition and growth hacking. We also looked at some requested for team dynamics and hiring, legal, equity, incorporation, trademarks, etc. So some of these topics will be treated by the speakers that we have on board as well as the team as well. So it's interesting to look at some of these demographics because it gives us insight into how your startups are funded and how um, your team works or how what makes up the team for your startups. We'll give you the opportunity to share more about it as well as time goes on as well. So do look when you are given the opportunity to make sure to make avail yourself and then get ready to speak as well to be able to leverage all the learnings that we have on the program. And we're moving on quickly to our next session where we'll have our first keynote for this year's program. And this keynote will be delivered by our very own Christine Timu, the CEO. She will be taking you through how to launch with purpose, to kill the business plan, leveraging this 5-step business model ecosystem. And it's an interesting topic, and I'm eager to hear more about it. So we look forward to that keynote from our
On the live. I think I'm unmuted now. Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you so much for that, Stan. And we're gonna kick off today's session with how you should launch with purpose, because I think right now there's such a plethora of people talking about entrepreneurship, giving advice on entrepreneurship, but not enough people have been through the valleys and the highs of entrepreneurship to really give tangible feedback on how to really build a company with integrity, with purpose, and really with enthusiasm and excitement. And so I'm so excited to be able to have this conversation with all of you. So I want to give a heads up to everyone who's on the session. Please put in the chat one reason you decided to launch your company. What is the main reason why you decided to launch your company? Because I tend to believe that the best entrepreneurs did not just launch a company just because there was a monetary opportunity or just a good opportunity. You had a reason, you had a purpose, you had like a firestorm reason as to why you wanted to do this, right? And so I want to be able to, engage you guys. Guys, if you could share on the chat feed, on the comments, and not on the screen, just the comments, the links to those articles, that would be great. So that way the group can be able to engage with that later on, right? So just wanted to be able to make sure that I get some comments as to, and team, please share on the screen people responses to this. Some people are saying, to help close the global wealth gap. Keep them coming. Like, what was the main reason why you decided to launch your company? Team, if you could keep those coming in, that would be great, right? What was the main reason why you decided to launch your company? What was the driving force? Did something happen? What was your trigger? What was your inspiration? Okay. And the reason why I asked it, as someone who's been in the startup ecosystem for a long time, I could tell you that a lot of people forget that, as an entrepreneur, like I said, I've been in the game for over a decade, and I'm pleased to say, just to formally introduce myself, my name is Christine Tim. I am a serial entrepreneur, personal brand influencer, tech ecosystem builder. I'm also a mother of 5 beautiful kids. Now I can say 5. I just recently had my 5th child, and a wife to an incredible partner who really builds and scales ecosystems around the world as my partner by my side. And over the past decade, I've been able to launch multiple revenue generating companies. And I will tell you, like, the accolades sell a lot. I've been featured in media outlets. I've been able to partner with major institutions. I've been able to speak in over 300 plus different conferences. And all that is great. But I've also been able to do incredible things with some amazing influences from around the world. But at the same time, I've also been able to take hard lessons that have made me cry. I've lost business contracts. I've lost opportunities. I've struggled with cash flow. Like, the highs and the lows I've experienced, and my team who has been through it and seen me go through highs and lows, they've seen go through depression. They see me go through struggles and so many different things. They see me launch in different markets. They see me retract in different markets. They've seen so many different highs and lows of my journey. And one thing I would say is, becoming a seasoned entrepreneur really does something to your motivation of how you build and scale your company. Because it's in those low moments that you have to question and ask yourself once more, why did I start to do this in the first place? What was my purpose and my why behind this? And this is the reason why at GSE, while we give you the fundamentals to build with customer acquisition, lead generation, social media, and all these different fundamentals for building a business, we want to make sure that you are building a business on some foundational, purpose-driven mission that drives you to the point where no matter what happens, you are able to stay the course and push through and bring that solution to market, because you wanted to bring that solution to market because you wanted to solve a problem. You want to do something with purpose. You had a mission and a drive pushing you towards launching that company. And I hope that I'm speaking to someone today, right? If you're feeling down, if you're feeling that, this is too hard, this is too long, like everything that you do, you're getting against a wall, that you're inspired to take another day. Today may not be the right day. Tomorrow you try again. And tomorrow you try again. And tomorrow you try again. Because entrepreneurs, they're resilient. They're really driven. And if you have the qualities of pushing through and breaking barriers, this conversation is for you. Okay. So with that said, we live in a global world. And right now we are connected to so many different markets that building a company globally is not as hard as it used to be. But with that said, as we glorify entrepreneurship, and I just said this, I just shared with you vulnerably that with all the accolades and all the things that I've achieved in my entrepreneurial journey, I recognize that the reality behind entrepreneurship is that it's incredibly hard. It's incredibly lonely. There are lows that will almost question your sanity. Please give me some comments if you guys can relate to what I'm saying right now, right? But at the end of the day, regardless of where you are in your entrepreneurial journey, you need a path forward, especially in this economic climate, especially in this current social fabric that we're living in terms of the technology and the rapid rise of AI. You need a clear path that really brings you back to center every single point that you have an evolution in your business, to make sure that you're staying the course. Because I do find a lot of entrepreneurs, especially this generation of entrepreneurs, are really lost and confused and are just kind of blending into the ether of just being another entrepreneur that's announcing that they're a CEO of an organization. Right? And where I want you guys to go is not just being another entrepreneur and launching a company, but being an entrepreneur that stands out for a reason, where you are doing almost the impossible, where people want to hear your story and hear your journey, right? And see why they should be able to support your business, support your mission, support your impact, because they see that you are in it for the long Hall. Okay. Now, my journey into entrepreneurship did not start in Silicon Valley, like, you know, many of the stories that you're seeing on media, because people say, oh, she made the Forbes, she's done so well. You know, maybe it's because she's in the US, maybe it's because she's in Silicon Valley. No, my journey in entrepreneurship actually started here. How many of you recognize this image in your local marketplace, especially for my African brothers and sisters who are on the call, right? How many of you recognize this, right? A street market where they're selling foods and different type of activities. How many of you recognize this image? And like I said, my journey into entrepreneurship did start here because I also grew up as a street vendor alongside my parents, who used to street vend Haitian artwork across border prints and into the United States when we started building our entrepreneur journey as street vendors, selling arts and craft from our Haitian community. Okay. Now, like I said, I didn't just do that with my parents. I come from a long line of generation of street vendors. My grandmother was a street vendor. My mom was a street vendor. And despite being the first in my family to go to college, the first in my family to get into a corporate ladder, the first in my family, the first to do many exceptional things, thanks to the hard work and the dedication of my mom and my family, even get into Ivy League institution on a full ride, the first venture that I wanted to do was go back to the fundamentals and support street vendors around the world. So that is me actually in Brazil, helping street vendors, get themselves featured in digital spaces as well, because I was trying to digitize the street market economy. And through that journey, I traveled to close to 30 plus countries around the world, trying to help digitize the stories between street vendors selling products and services within the travel industry. Okay. Now, obviously, in that journey, in that pursuit, in 2014, something really, really sad happened. Many of you probably recognize this image. It's the day in the year that Haiti, of all places, had an earthquake that killed 250,000 people. And the reason why I share this image, street vending is one of those professions and one of those entrepreneur hustles where they don't make a choice to be entrepreneurs. This is it, right? Right there on the screen, you can see the street vendor. The same day that this earthquake happened, as soon as the rubble stopped, she took a bowl, put it on one of the fallen pieces of that building, and kept selling like business as usual. How many of you on this call have that level of heart, have that level of resilience, have that level of purpose where you are back to the races despite all odds? This is the energy and this is the framework of entrepreneurship that I was born into, that I was exposed to. And it's the one that I believe that there's entrepreneurship where you have to do it, and there's entrepreneurship where it inspires you to still push forward, because when this is something that you believe in, you move forward. And so for me, when I first launched my business, it was very simple, where I had humble beginnings, where I just, sketch it on a document, going to different places, sharing my stories on blogs. And I remember there was this key moment where, as being the first to get a corporate job, I didn't know if I had to take the leap of faith to quit and really start this business, because I've never done a business like this before, right? But one of my favorite quotes from Margaret Shepard is, sometimes your only available transportation is a leap of faith. And man, did I do that. I had a leap of faith and I said, I'm going to go for it. And I quit my corporate job, moved to Dubai, because I heard a lot about their startup ecosystem in that region. And of course, I didn't know anyone. And I know when my back is against the wall, I come out fighting. I come out just putting my best out there. And it was the best career decision I made, because within months, I was able to launch my startup company. Months later, I made the Forbes list. Months later, Harvard reached out to do a business case study on my business. Months later, I was working with billionaires and celebrities around the world to expand this mission around the world. Months later, I was getting six-figure deals and corporate clients and institutional clients, from the World Bank to IBM to Google to Facebook to all these different institutions. And months later, I was speaking on global stages, sharing my story of entrepreneurship with many of you on the call today. Now, how did I do this? And this is where I want to get to the granular with you guys and share with you my secret. Wasn't because I was the best or I was this, and all those factors are great. Being the best at what you do, being passionate and being dedicated, those are qualities that will help you to persevere. But one of my biggest secrets that really helped me scale was that I did not take everybody's advice. And this is crazy that I'm saying this on the Accelerator program, where you're going to hear from speakers and mentors who all they're going to do is give you advice and feedback. But the number one advice that everyone always gives entrepreneurs is to have a business plan. I said to heck with the business plan, because many of you, I don't know if you ever heard this, like the one thing about a business plan, when you go to the market, you get smacked in the face because you realize that, building a business just through a business plan is not enough, right? Interacting with the market is important. So what I realized is that the business plan is dead because the business plan forces you to go through a checklist in terms of building your business and not creating an ecosystem around your business. And so with that, the first thing that I did as an entrepreneur, and hopefully you guys are taking notes at this point, was I identified who are the startup stakeholders in my community that I can access virtually, locally, globally, that will help me succeed in my business. And there are 10, and this is something that we share a lot at GSE, there are 10 startup stakeholders that you should be immediately ready to identify, whether in your home market or globally, virtually, that you're going to tap into during the journey of building your business. The first being other entrepreneurs who are going through it with you. You should have an entrepreneurship group where you can share battle stories together to keep you going. Second is what we call entrepreneur support organizations like us at GSC. We're an entrepreneur support organization as an Accelerator platform. The third are mentors and advisors. Fourth, academia. Universities are constantly trying to support entrepreneurship. There's multiple entrepreneurship boot camps and programs at universities. Fifth is funding platforms like investors, angels, VCs, grants. Six is media ecosystems. There are a lot of bloggers and mainstream media and radio institutions who are constantly sharing the stories of entrepreneurs to inspire the next generation of leaders. Government programs, corporations, of course, are constantly investing in buying out companies. Consulting networks who have the lawyers, accountants, and the vendors that you need to really build and scale your company effectively. And of course, industry networks. These are the 10 startup stakeholders that you need to be able to build and scale your company. Okay? Now, with that said, here is where I want to dive in for you guys. I want you to understand that building a business plan is no longer the best way to go about building and scaling your startup. You need to create an ecosystem around your business where you have a flow and a narrative around how everything comes together. And I want to share with you those core foundational 5 principles to build an internal business ecosystem around your business, product, or service. The first thing we got to start with is you have to have a product. I have so many entrepreneurs who come on this program and say that they have an idea. Your idea is not the product. You have to have a product, a service, something tangible. It's your what. And it's a customer offering so you can invite them to a solution that you have for a challenge that they have. If your product or service does not solve a problem, you do not have a product or service. You have just a cute little item that sounds great, but you don't have a product. You need a product. In today's economy, people are so overwhelmed and overstimulated. You need an actual product that serves an actual problem. That is your what. The second thing is once you have that product, you need a way of getting people to know about that product. You need a pipeline process, right? It's what we call lead generation or customer acquisition strategy. So that's your who. And that means you need to know who you're targeting. I see a lot of people, they want to have their business serve everybody, but you cannot serve everybody, right? So who do you target for that product or service? Who has that challenge and how do you get it in their hands? The third thing is called process. What is your operation strategy? Pretty much, what is the customer onboarding experience? When someone buys or taps into your product or service, what is the experience? What happens at different points of stages? When they come to your product, enjoy your product, and exit your product, what is the onboarding experience? And I will tell you, comment on the thread if you actually have a customer onboarding experience. A lot of people don't have a customer onboarding experience, which is very, very sad, right? 4, platform. Where can people find you and engage with you and your product or service? And this is what you call your marketing strategy. Where can you be found? And last but not least, by far my favorite, and where I want to make sure that you guys have a core focus on, is your pitch. This is your why. You're going to define your mission, your vision, and your story. And later on in the Accelerator program, I will help you through each one of these processes through a more in-depth workshop. But today we're exposing you to those 5 core principles because that end conclusion of the why, the pitch, I pitch at competitions all over the world, and I was able to raise $250,000 just through pitching alone in 6 months. Let me repeat that again. I was able to raise $250,000 just through pitching alone in 6 months because my why was so strong and so clear that every time I talked to an investor, a partner, a stakeholder, they knew why I was building this company. They could see the integrity and the purpose and the authenticity and the energy that I had within me regarding this business. Okay? So this is the foundational 5 principles that you need to build your company. Now, to scale your company, here was my secret sauce. You need to build an external business ecosystem framework around your business and your identity. And I tend to say that this is what's going to help you scale sustainably because it's the basics of personal branding. A lot of entrepreneurs really sleep on personal branding and forget that your personal brand can either hurt or accelerate your business. And the 3 sustainable possibilities that you need to tap into are partnerships. Who do you partner with to distribute and accelerate your growth, right? So I've partnered with corporations to scale our business. I've partnered with SAP, Facebook to really announce and share our programs through their newsletter, through their event activations. It was amazing partnerships. The second thing that you guys need to do, especially in this age of AI, you need to publish. You need to have a framework, an IP, something about you that speaks to the reason why your product or service stands out. What mode of thinking or framework do you have that you intellectually can provide to the public that makes you stand out? And for many entrepreneurs, that's called having a signature keynote talk that shares your vision for the future due to the product or service that you're bringing to the market. This is something that a lot of entrepreneurship programs do not talk about. And last but not least, programs like this one. How many accelerator programs and incubators, or even just any type of entrepreneur support initiatives are you joining to help, again, accelerate your growth? These are the 3 things that I tapped into over the past decade that not only helped me accelerate my business, but I'm sharing with you so you could think beyond your business ecosystem, again, that we talked about the 5 P pillars, to the external ecosystem that you're building around your product. Okay? So with that said, how I'll conclude before we go into the next panel is that I want you guys to really think about how important it is that you not only launch with purpose, but it be the foundational blueprint that you leverage, right, to stay the course no matter what. Because your business journey is not going to be an easy path. It's not going to be an easy road. You're going to have a lot more lows and highs. But I'm telling you, when you're launching with purpose and you have a why, a reason behind why you brought that solution to market, it takes you to a mental space of resilience that you probably didn't even know that you had. So with that said, I want to again welcome all of you to this beautiful journey of entrepreneurship. I think entrepreneurship is probably one of the best journeys you could ever encounter in your life as a career profession, as a career opportunity. And second, I cannot wait to hear the solutions that you have brought to market to serve the communities that you believe in, that you want to improve upon. And with that, congratulations to each and every one of you for being a part of the GSE Digital Startup Accelerator program. I cannot wait to see each and every one of you soar. Congrats, congrats, congrats. And I look forward to engaging with you throughout the program. So Stan, over to you as we engage on the panel session next. Thank you so much, everyone.
From our CEO Christine and team, and we'll delve right into the panel. We are going to discuss from idea to impact, building digital ventures that scale globally. And to help with this discussion, we have Yang Cheng, who is the co-founder and CEO of Pace. We also are meant to have Michael Carrot on, but he just had an emergency and he's not able to join us now, but he'll be able to join us maybe during the program. But without wasting my time, I'd like to welcome Yang to the stage to begin the panel.
Thank you, Stan.
Hello and welcome. It's great to finally meet you.
Thank you very much for having me. It's so nice to meet you, Christine. That presentation was fire. I love your energy.
Yeah, we are really great. We are really grateful that you could join us here today. So to kick off this discussion, kindly introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Definitely. Hello, everyone. My name is Yang Cheng. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of a company called Pixit. Pixie has the mission to showcase children's creativity. We want to inspire them and encourage them to continue create because everybody is very creative. And also we want to teach children how to earn, become an entrepreneur, and how to give back and make an impact to the society. So our platform, so we have a platform that children can upload their artwork and inspire the world and tell everybody about their story, what is the inspiration behind the artwork. What's actually special is we then turn the artwork into our daily products. We are also partnering with brands to turn children's artwork into limited edition products to allow children earn royalty from each sales, as well as we donate a certain percent to our nonprofit partner, and we tell the children how much of their artwork actually made impact to other children in the community.
Great. It's amazing work that you do. And welcome, Michael. Glad you could join us. We
Thank
didn't
you.
miss too much. We just started the session and the discussion.
Oh, okay.
So Yang was just telling us what she does. So I'll do the same question to you. Welcome to this panel, and do tell us what you do.
So my name is Michael Quirrell. I'm a principal at a company called Startup IQ, and we work with founders from the ideation stage to Series A, and we help them on their go-to-market strategies. Go-to-market meaning we focus on determining their product market fit, their client, how do they generate revenue, and we exercise them to help them get investment from either. So what's their investment model and how do they reach to that investment? And quick summary from the group is like we're a company of right now I think it's about 5 people, each one with a specific skill set, and we have skill sets on the finance, sales, product, business, and capital raise. So that's a little bit of who we are and what we do. But we work with all kinds of startups across the world. So.
Great. It's great to have you both on the session today, and we're going to be discussing from idea to impact, building digital ventures that scale globally. And we're happy to have you both on the panel because in this fast-moving digital economy, where founders must balance innovation and resilience, as well as execution, in order to scale their ideas into a much more bigger venture or global venture. We hope that both of you as visionary entrepreneurs will be able to share this particular insight on product development as well as funding strategies and growth in this startup landscape. And that's why I had you tell us what you do. Now I want to look at your journey and what inspired you, right? I think you mentioned a little bit of that, Yang, in your introduction, but if you could highlight more on what inspired you to start your venture and how you identified this opportunity that became your company.
Yes, definitely. What inspired me is because of my children. I have 2 little kids, 7 and not so little anymore, 7 and 10. They love drawing. We live in Brooklyn, in New York. We have small space. So a lot of their drawings were done on papers, as you can imagine. When they bring back home from school, most of them are wrinkled. And also we don't have enough storage space to store them. So when I start secretly disappearing those drawings, they get very emotional. They think, oh, mommy think their artwork is not good enough. That's not the reason. So I started looking into opportunities where I can showcase their artwork. So we started a digital because my past journey has been a product manager in software engineering. So my husband and I, we started building an online gallery. We even made into a few NFTs, obviously no traction because it actually Michael knows, require like home marketing. Is like running a startup. And so I ended up printing artwork on T-shirts for the children. So they wear to school, their friends can see it, their parents and teachers started seeing them, and they thought, that's amazing. People started asking them, where did you buy them from? So I figured that might be the best way, because kids running on the street, our neighbors' children running on the street and said, hey, this is my limited edition, one of a kind in the world, the T-shirt is my design. that's where I started seeing interest from children. And then what's more is when I started telling my children, hey, you actually earned royalty piggy bank coins from the sales, they started becoming even more inspired. And then my daughter especially said, can I donate those to my school? Because she goes to a public school where a little over 50% of children are low income. So the school does have donation to help those children. And that's where I saw, why don't I create a platform to allow this kind of flywheel of good, where children create, we inspire them, they generate income, and we donate back. So that was the inspiration.
Okay, great. How about you, Michael?
Look, that's a great story. It's like, that's awesome. We came from a different perspective. It's like we have multiple years of experience on all of the different fields. We saw a need. It's like, and we saw it with underrepresented founders in the U.S. how it's difficult for them to raise capital. And we started having conversations with limited partners, investors, to understand what was the issue. And part of the issue is, to Yang's point, is like investors are looking for traction. And founders have a couple of problems to deal with. It's like, one of them is like, do they decide to spend time on building the business, or do they spend time on finding capital? But the truth of it, at the end of the day, what you need to spend time is really finding customers. Because if you have customers, now you're taking the risk out of the business. And if you take the risk out of the business, now you're able to get access to investment. So that's how we started the business. It's like, we had a couple of startups. Our journey came from the technology side. We had a couple of exits to different individuals. And we started to working with some founders to understand what the problems were. So that's how we got here. But that was the genesis of the company.
Great. And it's good I could share your journey, and sometimes it's good to reflect how some of these things started to give. If sometimes when founders lose focus, it sets you back right on track, and it's also good to look back. In looking back, are you able to define one moment that changed your trajectory throughout your startup or in getting started? I think I'll start with you this time, Michael.
Yeah, here that's a great question, and there was. It's like, so one of the whole project started because our daughter was running a startup. And they had activity, but they were not getting to the funding component. And then you realize, if you're underrepresented, it's like your challenges of raising capital in the U.S. is like, so about 3 to 6% of the funding goes to underrepresented founders. That's compared to the rest of the communities. So we started to look into the problem. It's like, what was the issue? And one of the issues that they had on their startup was really, is like, they were lacking traction. And although they were having great conversations with investors, and they were talking to some of the large investment funds, it all came back down to traction. So that was, to your point, is like, that was the moment in time of saying, it's like, that is the issue, and that's what brought us into building the company. So but Yang, I think that I'll pass it on to you, because I think that your story is going to be better than mine. So.
No, it's actually the same, Michael. Thank you. We actually started partnering with the local schools. And luckily, we got some initial traction. We actually got more than what we expected. But then that's when we started thinking, how do we scale, and how do we stand out from the other competitors? For example, the schools all have our fundraising program where school actually put a lot of effort and then print custom products. So you can imagine there's many custom product printing company. That's what people think we are. One of those companies. And then what the pivotal point came because we obviously constantly going to industry events and talking to people. I ended up meeting brands and telling brands those ideas. especially brands that has a social impact element and empower youth. When I talked to them and they said, hey, why don't we start thinking about projects where we can have limited edition product drops with children's artwork design, and then we can have art competitions. And that's where the conversation started. And then I thought, hey, it's already hard for even grown-up artists to make money from their artwork, not to mention children, and busy parents are always working. So going to school is actually not the best way for us, not scalable. And working with brand is how we can actually gain more traction, and children earn more through the brand because they are already established. So that's when we now putting our effort more on B2B partnerships as opposed to B2C. We still have B2C. We still go social media marketing and all that stuff, but brand is where our bread and butter is right now.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. And I want us to delve into moving from idea to product market fit, right? And most of the entrepreneurs on this call today are new or early stage founders who started their companies this year. As for revealed in the poll that we picked from the application pool, most of them started their companies in 2025. So as early stage founders, they usually struggle to validate ideas. How do you suggest they approach this product market fits? And if you have any lessons to share with them, that would be helpful. I'll start with you again, Michael.
Look, there's no shortcut for it. It's you have to the only way that you can do that is really by getting out of the office or the building and talking to customers. I make the example, it's like if you were to open up let's call it a coffee shop. You would not open up the coffee shop in the middle of a country or a neighborhood that only drinks tea. It's like, because that is not going to give you early customers. So the heavy lifting is that whatever idea you have to understand the problem. If you don't understand the problem, then it's hard to really relate to it. But if you understand the problem and you think that you have a better solution or an innovative solution to that problem, then you have to go and talk to the customers that are affected by those problems. And if you can do that, then it's like now you're starting to understand more, okay, this is what the solution is. And then you have to start testing, are they willing to pay for that solution? And this is all before you even do anything. So I'll be brief. I'll give you like a clear example. It's like we work with an individual that had a great idea. He's an artist, and he was creating a new leather bag. And in his journey, it's like before we talked to him, he was building his website. He was going to build the product, and he was not only investing capital that he did not have, but really efforts and everything else. And what we asked them to do is like, look, you have a design, start testing it into the market. Use social media to start testing it, even before you have the product. And what he quickly found out is like the people that he thought were his customers were not, because they were not able to pay the price that he was expecting for that product. So even before building the website, so he used Instagram and he used some tooling, it's like to be able to validate that. So we asked him to go look for a different type of customer. He did that. He did the heavy lifting, and he found the customer. He found those customers that are willing to pay that price and appreciate the quality of the product and everything else. So once he did that, it's like now it's like he's still using the social media channels. It's like he's now transferring it to a commerce component. He got the first product. He took the first product. He's using social media to revalidate the customer. And now he's opening it up for those customers to start willing to put in some money for early adopters. It's like here's the groups that are going to be getting the first products. he did that, all of that is like he, with time and effort, is like, but he did not spend money on his website. He still has not developed or built a product, but now he knows the customers. He knows specifically the customers that are willing to pay the price that he needs for that bag. It's like, and now he's starting to build a paid waiting list. It's like, so that will help him fund the first bags coming into the market. So again, it's a simple discussion about it, but it all starts with the customer. If you cannot find those customers early on, then that's a problem. And you should not be educating your customers. You should just be understanding the problem and saying, okay, can those customers be willing? Are they willing to pay some money to make that problem go away? Did that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And for in terms of customers, I mean, no, if to make a big sense for the customer. But for the young, I want you to address how to balance innovation with customer feedback, particularly when shaping your product or service. For young, in terms of balancing customer feedback with innovation, right? Because you want to innovate, but then you also have to look at what the customer says or what the feedback from the customer is. So how do you balance that when shaping a product or service?
Yeah, we actually always go around the customers. We are constantly listening to them. So the product is actually built based on the feedback. When we hear the feedback, we understand where we need to improve, and then we'll look how do we innovatively solve that problem. So it's always around the customer. There's no shortcut. And I want to add to what Michael mentioned about identify product market fit. I 100% agree. Don't wait for the perfect product. Always build something, go to customers, test it, and iterate. The initial customers could even be the friends and family and friends of friends. And those ones, just make sure know what to ask them to get the real honest feedback, and then keep iterating.
Yeah, and I'll just give you for instance, is like, so the founder that is launching the bag is like, he thought that his customers, he was getting great feedback from his friends and family until he asked them, great, if you like the bag so much, it's like, are you willing to write me a check? That's when he said, that's where the truth became like, well, we like the bag, but we're not going to write this type of check for the bag. It's like, so that's when you realize, no, you have to find the customers that are able to pay for that. And you have to be able to ask the question. And when we say customer discovery, it's like, don't just do your inner circle. You have to get outside and you have to talk to at least 50 to 100 customers. It's like, then it's a real business. If not, it's just an idea.
100%.
Yeah, definitely true. Thank you for sharing that about with the customers, because the customers are always important to growing our business. Now with back to you, Yang. What strategies have helped you grow Pixit and attract partners or users in competitive markets?
So the question is, how did I grow the company? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So because we have two revenue source, one is B2C, one is B2B partnerships. So partnerships is just a revenue channel. So on the B2C side, we started with friends and family and the local schools who we don't know, but still very close. And then we grow from there is word by mouth. We have referral programs, and we also incentivize returning customers. We actually have a very good returning rate. We incentivize them with coupon. And then now we started social media as well, but it's a little bit more stretched. The conversion rate is relatively low from social media. So that's one side, B2C. And the second side is B2B partnerships. We do partner with nonprofit organizations who motivate youth. We also partner with schools, after school programs, and now start talking to brands. So those partnerships is a different kind of ways of getting revenue, even through partners, because they are also targeting youth. So that's another way for us to acquire more customers under our B2C umbrella.
Okay. Great. Thank you for sharing that. Partnerships are always important for businesses to grow. And for you, Michael, you are a Y Combinator alum, and I wonder if you have any insights to share about positioning your startup for investments, positioning it in the right way to be ready to receive investments.
Look, it's like as founders, you have to make a decision. It's like you're investing your own capital and you're investing your own time, and you have to focus on the activities that return and help you move forward. If you are looking for external investment, it's like there is a great saying on the investment community: "Are the dogs eating the dog food?" And what that means is, like, to Yang's point, is like it's like, are customers buying your product? It doesn't have to be the final product. It doesn't have to be the perfect product. It's like, and the reason that even if it's $1, even if you just have customers that are paying you $1, at least somebody's willing to pay something to solve a problem or to gain a new experience. If you are unable to get to that point, you're not going to get investment. It's like you're going to have conversations because investors are willing to talk to you and everything else. But the reason that they're not putting money in is because for investors, money is their product. And they're willing to deploy it, but they're looking for that money to come back to them 10x. So if you're not able to prove to them, either through customer discovery or traction, that you are taking the risk out, then it's very difficult to get that early investment. And that's why it's like usually the first investors are really family and friends, because they believe in you. They believe in the person and in the individual. But once you get out of that circle, then you have to prove that the business is investable. And that's what you have to look at. And there's some business that you have to think about, like scale. It's like, are they investable enough for the investor to be able to get the money back? Or are they just a good small business, which is it's not a bad thing. It's just a reality. There's some business that is like, look, like if I put in X hundreds of dollars or whatever it is, I'm not going to get to an exit of so many dollars. So you have to be aware of those components. But the first component is really, if you want to set up your business for investment, you have to at least know your customers very well. And you have to know that they're willing to write a check to solve or to gain the experience that you're selling. If you cannot do that in 30 seconds and explain that, then that's a problem.
Great. Thank you both for sharing. And conversations like this can go on forever and ever and ever. And we do have a lot more questions, but we'll have to wrap up because we're running slightly behind time. We know entrepreneurship is full of risk and also involves a lot of highs and lows. It's never smooth sailing. What habits or leadership principles have helped you stay resilient to challenges? Back to you, Yang, with this one.
Thank you. I guess stay true to myself, because we know what our mission of the company is, and know when to give up and know when to say no to customers. It's okay to say no to them if it's not the right fit.
Yeah, great. How about you, Michael?
Look, I think that she said it right. I think that it's like if you're an entrepreneur, you need to find your ecosystem. You need to find your support system, because it is a very lonely path. It's like, so find people that can be supportive or that you can reach out at a moment in time. But I think that the other one is like, you do have to learn how to say no. Not everything is a yes. It's like, because otherwise you're going to be doing, one of the things that we tell our founders is focus. Activity for the sake of activity is not important. It's like, what's important is activity that moves you forward. It's like, so saying no to certain customers is really important, and you have to feel comfortable about doing that, and that's an uncomfortable position. It's like, because you think, oh, they're customers, they're gonna spend some money, but it may not be the right customer for you at that moment in time. So I think that those are the two things. But I think that keeping true to yourself and having the right support system is really key through this journey. It's a great journey. It's it's hard lifting.
Great, great. Thank you both for joining us today. And finally, before you leave, if you could leave our participants with one piece of advice, particularly for turning their ideas into impactful ventures, what would it be? I don't know who wants to go first on this, but I'll leave
Okay,
it to
I think I have a big mouth, so I'll just go first, and then I'll let Yang go. It's like, look, solve a problem that somebody cares about. If not, don't do it. It's like, and think about it. Spend the time finding a problem that it's like that you really think that it's a problem. Yang did it. It's like she solved a problem. It's not a problem that people understood, but it was a need. It's like, it's all of a sudden, it's like, oh, you know what? That's a path. It's like, so that would be my suggestion. It's like, if you're looking to solve something, or you want to do a startup business, whatever the business is, it's like, really understand your customer and solve that problem. And then it will be fun. It's like, otherwise it will be pretty tough.
I
Yang?
agree. 100% agree. I was going to say solve the problem, but then you went first. I guess my advice is don't wait for the perfect product, because the first solution might not be the actual best solution anyways. So always launch and test it and iterate.
Great, great, great. Thank you so much for your insights shared on the session. If you could see the comment, it's really buzzing, and we are really grateful that you could join us here today to discuss moving from idea to impact. And we've shared your LinkedIn, so do expect some follow-up questions from our participants on the session today. But it's been really great having you on the session today. We're thankful for your time and your insights shared here today, and hope to connect with you on future endeavors as well. Thank you, Yang. Thank you, Michael, for your insights today.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Very good. So that was our first panel for the day. In the panel talked about from idea to impact, building digital ventures that scale globally. And we'll be transitioning to our next fireside chat, where we'll be discussing from idea to investment, right? We talk about impact. We're going to talk about investment, what early stage founders should know. And to help me with this discussion, we have James Peru, the founder and CEO of Innovation Plus. So we'll just have a 30-second countdown and then welcome him to the stage. Thank you all. Okay, welcome back. And it's my pleasure to welcome James Peru, who is the founder and CEO of Innovation Plus, to the stage to us to discuss everything from idea to investment. Welcome, Jim. It's a pleasure to have you on the session today.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Staniel.
Great, great. So, as a way to kickstart this, kindly introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Sure. Well, I am what's called an ecosystem or community leader. I've been supporting entrepreneurs for my whole career. And so I do a lot of things, right? One is I connect people. Maybe it's founders to funders. I bring people together at events from small to very large. I promote the whole community, mostly in the New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia area. I promote all the events, right? Because those provide opportunities for entrepreneurs and stakeholders in the community to meet. And that's really important. Sometimes I invest, sometimes I advise, Sometimes I do educational collaborations. Sometimes I speak. Sometimes I sit on boards. So I do a lot of things. But at the end of the day, I'm helping people. I'm helping entrepreneurs. I'm helping all the stakeholders or all the people within an innovation ecosystem or an innovation community be more successful.
Great, great, great. You do wear a lot of hats, and it's a real pleasure to have you join us on the session today. Now, I want to move into your journey. I know you've built Innovation Plus and advised leading venture funds as well as the other boards and other endeavors that you deal in. Can you share what drives your passion for empowering founders and investors alike?
Yeah, I think I used to run an entrepreneurship center for most of 17 years. That's a long time. And then I ran the Tech Trade Association for another 5 years, right? So I've always been around entrepreneurs and CEOs and business and nonprofit leaders. So the intangible rewards for me is to help people and to help them succeed. And so that feels really good when I can help someone be more successful, help them find funding, help them find partners, uh, help them find new business. That really brings me, a lot of joy, and I'm just so fortunate to be in this community and to have the capacity and ability to continue to sort of help people.
Great, great. Thank you so much. And in your point of view, or with your experience, what distinguishes an idea from being just something that's interesting to one that um, is investable?
Sure. Well, that let me answer that in the most general way, right? Ideas are easy, right? What makes an idea investable is to make sure it's solving a problem and that there is a large amount of customers or potential customers who are willing to pay for it. There could also be just a small amount of customers and they can be very rich and you can be profitable that way too. The point is, the idea has to be useful, right? It has to be a useful invention or idea or a combination of services or combination of ideas that uh, will see traction, which means you'll be able to get customers who are willing to pay for it, and therefore you can get investors if you want to. You might not need investors. If you get traction early on and become profitable, you might not even need any investment from an investor. So that's the important thing. An idea that is useful and people are willing to pay for.
Okay, great, great. And in evaluating startups, right, especially early stage startups, what key factors do you look for before saying yes, this is the startup I'm going to invest in?
Right. So clearly the team is important, right? You're investing in people at the end of the day, right? So if you can't trust that team or that founder or co-founders, then that's going to be a problem, right? So that's number one. Number two, the idea has to make sense, right? It has to have a large enough, depending on where I would be investing in the sort of in the scheme, whether it's very early or early stage or later stage, depending on what where you are, that will also affect it. Clearly, if it's a later stage of BC round, then you're going to have traction. That means you're going to have customers. You're going to need to be making some money, right? Uh, but at the end of the day, what really matters is the team, right? Because even if the idea is not perfect, and most ideas are not perfect, most products and services are not perfect from day one, right? Then you can pivot or you can change the product or change the service uh, and ultimately become successful.
Okay, great. So I want to look at founder mistakes and some lessons that can be learned from them. What are some of the most common mistakes that early founders make when pitching or engaging with investors, and how can they avoid them?
Well, one of the things that is a common mistake is that they think they can solve all the problems. So if you just be focused on one problem, right, or one sector, that usually helps, right? Because the investor does not want to hear you trying to solve the world's problems or an industry's problems. They want you to solve one thing, solve it well, and move fast, right? So that's a sort of a one that is very common. The other thing is not knowing your full competitive, competition sort of stack. That means you don't know or can't speak to what your competitors are doing, right? That's really important to understand the landscape in which you are operating. That's really important. Um, the other thing is, you have to be willing to learn and be open-minded. So you should never come into a pitch or talking to any investor or anyone thinking you know it all, right? And sometimes, there are entrepreneurs who think they know it all, and that's a problem. And so open-mindedness, humility, you know, um, really respectful, those are all qualities of entrepreneurs that investors would like to invest in.
Great, great. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I know you have a lot of insights to share. And I'm glad that we got you here today to share your insight, particularly concerning investments as well. But before you go, I want to find out from you if you have, similar to what I asked the previous panel, if you could leave these founders here today with one golden rule about moving from idea to investment, what would it be?
Sure. What I would say is continue to, well, you're going to persist, right? You're going to work really hard, right? That's number one, persistence, right? Never give up. Number two, you need to be open minded. Be open minded and continue to learn. That's really important in life, right? Not only entrepreneurship, but especially entrepreneurship, right? The other thing is just keep developing your skills, right? And if you're not already using the skills or the tools, the AI tools, use them and learn them, because all the investors are expecting you to be using those tools to move fast and to lower your costs, right? And to improve your services, improve customer service as quickly as possible. So those three things I would say.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Jim, for joining us today. It's always a pleasure having you on the session, and we thank you for your continued support for TSC over the years. I'm really grateful for your time and thought leadership today. Thank you so much.
Thank, thank you, Daniel, and good luck to all the entrepreneurs out there.
Great. Thank you. Right. So that was our fireside with Jim, who is the founder and CEO of Innovation Plus. We just had a brief fireside chat discussing from idea to investment, what early stage founders should know. Now, this is the kickoff session for the GSE Digital Startup Accelerator program today. And we are really grateful to all our speakers that joined us today, from our CEO presenting team to, we just heard from James Barwood, who is the CEO and founder of Innovation Plus. We also heard from the panelist, Yang Chong, who is the co-founder and CEO of Pitsit, as well as Michael Quarrot, who is the principal of Startup IQ. And they shared their thought leadership with us. And I did see a lot of engagement in the chat feed as well. So in future, when we have these sessions, if you have questions for the panelists, you could share them in the chat feed as well. As stated in the email, we'll be continually sharing the links to join the session. So make sure to join the sessions as and when, and accept the calendar so you get the reminders to join the session as well. Remember, these sessions will be held every Wednesday and Friday each week until the November 14th. So we look forward to amazing sessions throughout the time period as well, which will culminate in the Digital Startup Summit, as mentioned by Christine and team earlier on. So look forward to that as well. If you, I'm just going through the comments to see if I have any questions about the program today. I see a lot of you are networking and sharing your LinkedIn as well, so it's good to do that as well. Have a centralized platform where you could also engage with each other and then learn more from each other as well. Throughout the session, like I said earlier, if you have any questions while the panel is going on, you could send the questions. Today, I did see one question, but we couldn't, the speakers couldn't address it, but you could still be directed to them as well. So we look forward to that. But I just going through some of the comments today to highlight some of the comments I'm seeing here relating to the panelists that came on today. If you have a co-founder, how do you know you found the right one, and how do you build a relationship with the co-founder? I think Michael mentioned it briefly in terms of you know what you want to achieve for you, and speaking to someone, if your visions align, it's pretty much clear from the beginning, from the very first conversation that you do have, or from interacting with the person over time, what your vision is. And if in working with him over time, or even with the initial discussions that you do have, um, you find that his vision are aligned, it's pretty much easy to tell from that point on. And in terms of building a relationship with the co-founder, it's important to be true to yourself and be as honest as possible. Because even though you are doing business, honesty counts and communication counts as well. So once you make sure you are being true to the person or your co-founder, I believe it eliminates a lot of problems that you may encounter along the way. So that was a question from Theodore Kanjo as well. Then so this related to investment, is it good to deal? Is it a good deal getting an investor proposing on investing 50% of the shares, having started from struggles? Then it's like selling your brand, your hard work to an investor. What's the impact? So that makes 50% is a significant impact, because that person can determine the path that your company goes. It's something that you would have to look at in terms of for your particular startup that you do have, and weigh the pros and cons of it. Depends on who is investing. It could be someone much bigger who wants to take over or wants to influence the direction of it. So then you look at it and then evaluate it. So there are some investors that may come in, want to invest, but they want to that because they believe in your vision and want it to grow. So 50% is definitely an impact. It's not something that is minimal at all. It's definitely an impact, because a person would make it would make decisions in that would affect your business. So it's something that you have to evaluate depending on who the investor is and what he's bringing on board in terms of, is he investing for to change the direction of it, or is he investing to further your vision, right? So it's something that you look at as well. So those are I think a few questions I have. So in the chat feed as well. But then it's been a great session, a great first session. The next session will be on 22nd, where we'll have many more speakers. We'll hear from Christian again, also hear from Sabila Lam, who is an information management officer from Grocean Foundation, as well as Nina Ojo-Meka, who is a chief operating officer of Universal Hospitals Group, and also Kathleen Enoro, who is the head of strategic partnerships, head of professional services industry as for the World Economic Forum. So it's an amazing session to look forward to on 22nd, same time as today. So look forward to that session as well. Before that, we'll continue to send updates via email as well. I know a number said they didn't receive the emails, but we'll share them and then check the emails as well, because I believe some emails were wrongly sent, so it's made it difficult getting the information across. But it's been an amazing session, and thank you to everyone who participated in the session today. Look forward to engaging with you throughout this program. Congratulations once again to you for being selected on the program today. It's been an amazing session. I did learn a lot from our speakers today, and let me see. Okay, for Nancy, do you have a WhatsApp? Yes, that would be communicated via email as well for you to be able to join for those who are selected. So you look out for that email to join the WhatsApp community to make sure you'll be able to engage further beyond the online sessions that we do have as well. We made this first session open so that as many as possible could join as well. So we look forward to that as well. But thank you all so much for engaging in the session today. It made it as lively as possible, and congratulations to all of you. So thank you all so much, and do enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully it's a great weekend for us all, and look forward to engaging more throughout the program. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. It's always a pleasure having you on, and we look forward. Just continue looking out for emails until the WhatsApp group is formed or the community that we decide to use is formed, and then we'll carry on.
But this world, as big as it is, one person can be the tipping scale to really create a domino effect that no one ever seen coming. I would like to remind people, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to judge you and tell you you're too naive.